You pick it, I play it. Hi, it's McFluffy52 here, and for this week's Standard Event Saturday, we're going to be playing Jeskai Monument Control. If you're unfamiliar with Standard Events, they are located under the Events tab, and they're a way to earn gems in game. You spend either 2,500 gold or 375 gems to enter, and you keep playing until you reach 3 losses. You get payouts according to the number of wins you get, and you want to try and hit around 3 wins, because that's when you get 200 gems in one pack, and one pack is worth 200 gems in the store. So you get roughly 400 gems of value, which is slightly more than you pay to play. Obviously, you want to win more and more because that's going to give you more rewards. That's enough about standard events. Let's talk about the deck that we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing Jeskai Monument Control, deck centered around Monument to Endurance. I played this deck before, and I played it until I reached Mythic. Well, I played a bunch of different decks built around Monument to Endurance, and this is the one that I went from like the bottom of Diamond to Mythic with. But yeah, basically we want to be able to discard cards to trigger Monument to Endurance both on our turn and the opponent's turn. So the deck likes to use Artist Talent to enable this, as well as like Growl, Ill-Timed Explosion, all are very good at triggering it. We have 2 Skycrash, which can deal with artifacts, which seems pretty good against the Quarry Steelcutter, but also can cycle for 1 mana. And then another big card in this deck is 3 steps ahead, because not only can we counter spells, which means that if the opponent is going to try and get rid of our monuments, we can try and protect them, but we can also use the second mode to create token copies of our Monument to Endurance. And once you get more than 1 Monument to Endurance, things get really out of hand, and we win the game by using the last mode of Monument to Endurance by draining the opponent for 3 life. Also, little utility in our lands with Fomori Vault, which is very nice. That is the deck. Now, before we hop into the games, I want to take a brief moment to talk about the sponsor of today's video. Magic the Gathering can feel very overwhelming when you first start. There's so many mechanics, strategies, and cards, but it doesn't have to be that way. The sponsor of today's video is the Sorcerer's Field Guide from Ivory Tower Games. This is a guide to Magic the Gathering designed to help players understand Magic from the ground up. Everything from how to play, deck building, and mastering different strategies. So if you're new to Magic, this book will walk you through the fundamentals, explain the key mechanics in a way that actually makes sense, and help you avoid common beginner mistakes. So if you're tired of always asking that one guy at the LGS about the rules, or if you're getting a friend or family member into Magic, make your game nights go smoother and check out the Sorcerer's Field Guide using my link below, which also helps support the channel. Let's hop into the games. Thanks. I'm very excited to see how well this deck will hold up since I've built it. There's been obviously a little bit of time has passed, so is this deck able to still compete with the changing meta? I think it performs pretty well, but time will tell. I've kept this in. We have Lightning Helix for early interaction. We have a Surveil land, which will turn on all of our Verges, which is very nice. We have all our mana sources. We have double Monument, so that's really strong if we can get to it. Though the opponent has the right removal, I think we'll have a problem. Also, I think our opponent might be a fan of Tamiyo. We have both Tamiyo sleeves and a Tamiyo avatar. So that's a red. Rotting Mako. Okay, so the opponent might be on their own kind of draw discard deck, which is interesting. We're gonna hold off Lightning Helixing until their turn, just in case something bigger, more pressing comes out. We'll take 1. And we'll Lightning Helix it. Generally, it's not you often see some people wait until after combat to remove something just in case the opponent has a pump spell or a way to protect it. They use it post combat. Get Lost will be very nice against this Oculus, but definitely you're gonna want some more removal if we can find it. More permanent removal. We have, I think, 2 copies of Sunfall in the deck. So also important. I think we're looking for sweepers. Lightning Strike can help, but it's not going to get us there. And we'll just pass turn and then play them Get Lost on the Oculus before they connect. Yeah, we have 2 Sunfall and 4 Ill-Timed Explosions, so we have a lot in terms of sweepers. Another monument I could have gotten down, but I'm kind of afraid of how much damage we might take. That's a new card, Winter Night Stories. I think it has a lot of potential. It makes some sense in these Oculus decks, but I think it depends a lot on the kind of builds you go for. Might play out Ral just to attract some attention and try and dig deeper, because we will draw 3 and discard 2 cards potentially, which will also trigger the monument. So it's basically, oh no, this is not good. I feel like my game sounds are much louder.
Let's make like lightning, get cracking.
Alright, let's do some digging, see if we can find something useful here. Have to discard 2 cards. We'll discard the Lightning Helix and the Mountain. The life gain could have been kind of nice. And I think we need to find a sweeper pretty badly. The untapped land would have been useful if we're going for removal spell to protect Rao as well. So I didn't think about that fact we were going to be getting a treasure there, which is a bit of a mistake, but ooh, that's not good. They have fear of missing out turned on, so they get to attack twice with something. So that is 9 plus 4 damage that they could send to face if they ignore Rao. And recast something from their graveyard, which they could cast the Helping Hand. Instead, they exile the Oculus. That does not seem like what you would have wanted to do, but then I guess Vigilance with the Steam Force Collar means they do even more damage than I thought. Could have gotten this Oculus. Alright, we are 17 cards deep. We haven't found a single sweeper, so hopefully we'll find one and save ourselves here, but it is looking rough. That is most definitely not a sweeper, so I think we are dead. Because we are looking at... We removed 2 creatures, but we're still taking 5. Anyways, I think that that is gonna do it. Didn't quite get to a sweeper, and that seems to have ended the game for us. I'm just wondering if the opponent will make some kind of mistake, but I don't think they will, because I think it's pretty straightforward. We're just gonna die. And we are so close. 0 and 1. Okay, this hand looks alright. We can Lightning Helix on turn 2. We have Get Lost, and we have kind of run the engines in the deck in Artist Talent. So if we can do a little bit better than that first game. We're so close to surviving, and I think we would have had a decent shot of drawing into a sweeper there. Just because we went through like the top third of our deck. Molt Tender with Botanical Sanctum. Interesting. So I guess our opponent is probably a Teamer or Sultai. They could be Sultai like Insidious Roots. They could be the teamer grabs kind of deck where they want to put a bunch of instant and sorceries in their graveyard. It could be, I guess, teamer otters. So what is it going to be, opponent? Witching Doll and Molt Ender. Interesting. We have counterspell, so we can just counter whatever they go to play. Mill a land. They have 5 mana at their disposal. Could be playing black mana, so maybe it is a roots deck. Warhound helps fuel their graveyard. Haywire might. I think I'll go ahead and counter that. I would like to keep my artist talent so I can dig through my library here. We have 1 land, so I think I'm going to discard the excuse me, discard the island, and we do have to watch out for a Soul Cauldron, because that could exile the Haywire Might and then turn everything into a Haywire Might, which would be pretty problematic. It's a cool deck that the opponent has put together. Remove 2 creatures. I definitely think we want to remove the Gorehound if we get the chance. It is just filling their graveyard. There goes a Soul Cauldron, so they must have 1 in hand, which is not reassuring. Because I feel like you grab that Soul Cauldron and blow up my artist talent pretty easily. Alright, 3 steps ahead means we are protected from that possibility. And just pass the turn for now. Mill another card. It is a Fairy Dream Thief. We have Counterspell, but definitely a little slow. Roots. How many creatures do they have in their yard? They have some. I think we want to counter this. Well, we could also just get lost the roots, which I think is worth. Is better use of our mana. Because 3 steps ahead can stop the Soul Cauldron. Wow, they had another, which we kind of expected, but still a bit spooky. Discard the Helix. We really want to find a sweeper. Opponent has a lot of cheap creatures and mana dorks, so they've chewed through quite a few cards. Ride's End is nice. Don't really want to have them keeping Insidious Root. We have 5 mana, which is pretty good, so I think I'll discard the land and try and find that sweeper. A Sunfall would be quite helpful. I was going to make a plant in response. Kill another creature. Make another plant. Alright, there is a sweeper. I think we'll just hold on to what we have here. Ill-timed explosion, we can discard the ride's end and deal 5 damage to all of the creatures here. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and just activate artist talent, or level up artist talent to make our spells cheaper. Should help us in the long run. Not These first 2 games are not instilling confidence in me, and that I can still hang. Awaken the Honored Dead. That is a cool conclusion. Makes a lot more sense for why they are playing 3 colors. Destroy, mill 3, and then you can discard a card to return a creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Opponent gets rid of their Urfar's Dispersal. That makes a lot of sense. We draw a land. Okay, we will discard the Ride's End and the Plains. Should nuke everything. Then next ill-timed explosion, hopefully we'll be able to just draw some cards. Fomori Vault, I think we have our lands covered. I think we're playing 26 lands? 25. So we have one more than normal, but it's back. Enter, mill 3, and put a land. Okay, so we don't put a counter on it. I guess I'll play Ghost Vacuum. That seems pretty good. And maybe we'll just draw some cards. We will not discard. Play another land. See if we can get what we're looking for. There we go. That'll help us turn through even more cards. Found 0 monuments in the top third of our deck, which is unfortunate. Should be able to respond to this. I'm going to activate full control by pressing control. So hopefully we'll be able to do, I think, turn off full control. We exile what they try and grab. And probably help Maverick even more cheap creatures. They are halfway through their library. I would be concerned that they're going to mill themselves, but go ahead and level this up to make our spells even cheaper. And we'll hold up the Ghost Vacuum again to respond to any sort of graveyard shenanigans. Down to 12, but Artist Talent, not really what I was looking for. But I will play it. And maybe I should have discarded the Helix here, but keep it like this. Taking 3 damage each turn, so we have 4 turns, but we can gain 3 back with the Helix and remove one of them, so it's not a huge deal, but I kind of want to hold off playing Helix until we draw, or like have another card to draw and discard with talent. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I think we will just go ahead and Sunfall. And then try and dig our way through our library and getting rid of the Helix. Land is not very helpful. That is a row. That seems very, very good. We can play Ral, and then we have the token to defend it. We can just take up Ral. Opponent could have removal, but I think the only removal they have is the Waken the Honor Dead. So, otherwise they have to attack in.
I hope you've got bottled lightning share.
Just weathering the storm. And start leveling up the artist talent so that our lightning helixes will do more damage. Unfortunately, the level 3 does not affect the okay, abhorrent Oculus was not what I was expecting. Ooh, the Kishla Skimmer is another good card for a Sultai graveyard deck. A lot of sense. Going down to 20 cards left, but I think we have a bigger problem right now. Do some digging with a Ral here.
There's evidence here somewhere.
Okay, Monument is pretty helpful here, because that means we can actually start doing some of the like actual value. Sweeper, we could try and dig for one. Helix is nice, but I think we want to try and find a sweeper if we can. That is not a sweeper. Okay, well, we will level up the talents, I guess, and hold on. Can we live a turn? Ral is here, but I don't know if the opponent cares that much. I'm not going to be exiling stuff with the Ghost Vacuum for the time being, because do they have another way to tap down the 1/1? Because then we are dead. Oh, there's a 1 monument to endurance in the top half of our deck, and because of that, our deck really doesn't function that great without it, and we just... Our comeback begins now. This hand is okay. We have a Lightning Helix, ill-timed explosion, enough mana to cast the ill-timed explosion, so I'll give it a try. Looking like, though, it might not matter. It might just die. This deck is ridiculously fast. Plot. I think we want to hold on to Skycrash here. Play down the plane so we can cast a Lightning Helix on the bird so we don't take a bunch of random damage. Actually, I don't think it's that much. Opponent casts Stock Up instead. I think we play the Parlor down next turn. I don't want to Lightning Helix this 2/2 because of the Flick Shot show off being such a greater threat. I think I'm just going to do nothing. Sunfall is kind of nice. Ral. What do you do here, Ral? I think we can keep Ral. We have a lot of removal in hand. Maybe I should have pitched Ral, but I think it can produce a bunch of chump blockers, which is nice in some regard. Gonna hurt. One has a spell pierce. Or a protection spell. No? One mana open is just double burst lightning to the face, and we barely escape with our lives. Don't think we have really time to play out those cards. Get rid of Sunfall instead of the artist talent, but I think we want the Sunfall to clean up the board potentially. Opponent has Bolt Wave in their graveyard that they can get back with the Storm Chaser's talent, so we are approaching death. Alright, I'm gonna play Monument and start generating some value here. I don't have instant speed removal, so we're probably just dead though. Probably should have cycled the Skycrash and held up removal if I could find it. I can't respond to this in time to do anything about the Prowess token. And we're dead. Well, today we asked, is the Jeskai Monument deck still good enough to play in a standard event? And based on these results, I guess not. It doesn't bring me pleasure to say it, but we got rinsed. I think we really did get a bit unlucky in some of those matches where we went through like the top third of our deck. We couldn't find a monument, but in like the last match in particular, we just didn't even really have much of a chance to put down the monument to start generating value. We didn't get past the I need to be able to survive part of the game to actually kind of get to the end game that the deck wants to play. So that was unfortunate. There's not really much to say about the rewards we get. Fabulous 25 gems. Does not does not make up for what we put in. But that is all going to be all for today. Let me know what you think of the deck. Let me know also what you want to see in a standard event. I got a comment asking for Boros auras, so let me know if that'd be of any interest. I also got several comments with some particular like deck archetypes that I will try and maybe build out over the course of this week, and maybe we can try one of them out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're watching. Take care of yourself,